Hello there, right here guys, we have a brand new snapshot for Java Edition as well as Bedrock. It comes with a brand new mangrove swamps as well as this new really cool recovery compass. Let's get into what all this new stuff brings, and you guys know what to do. Give this video a like as well as subscribe if you haven't already. In the Minecraft live event, they talked about bringing in two new biomes for 1.19. One being a new birch forest and the second one being the mangrove swamps. These things are amazing and they are currently in the game. You can find them in warmer and more humid places, similar where you find the normal swamps. Of course, these guys contain the mangrove trees, which are really different than the other type of trees that we have in the game. They kind of have the main trunk, but then when it comes to the roots, they have multiple roots that hold them up. This means you can also get these new root blocks as well as the trunks and all the different wood stuff that comes with those, as well as the leaves, and they even have vines on these things. You can also find their propagules dropped from the tree. Here we have one as an item. Here we also have one that's hanging on the tree. The floor of this biome does have the new mud block, and if it's near the tree, it has the muddy mangrove roots. We can also find patches of grass here, as well as dead bushes. Now in these swamps, you can also find the warm version of the frogs. Just like in real life, these swamps are really dense, and there are some parts of it that have their floors filled in with water. You can grow up the propagule and it will try to place in a mangrove tree, and these things can get massive. Notice that the propagule was in the center, but then it placed in the roots that are supporting this on all four sides, it seems. Then on top of that, it placed in the logs as well as all the leaves. This one happened to get quite large and took up this area, and the propagule are already placed on it as part of it, as well as the vines. And these trees also have a chance of producing the bee nest. It'll be fun designing a automatic tree farm to farm up these guys, as I have designed a lot of different types of tree farms over the 13 years of playing this game. So make sure you guys join my live streams every Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday to watch me invent new types of automation and machines in the game. They also introduced the conversion of mud over into clay, as this wasn't working in previous snapshots. So that means my farm here, which automatically creates stone, then converts it into moss, then converts that into rid of dirt, and then that into mud, can now also convert it into clay, which makes it a great way to collect large amounts of clay if you don't want to use my Hero of the Village raid farm. If you want to learn more about this farm as well as the world download, check out the link I provided in the description. We also got some brand new unique loot to the ancient city chest. That is the echo shard. These things look so cool. And if you have these as well as a compass, and you use 9 of the shards with 1 compass, you produce this brand new item which is called the recovery compass. Let me show you guys how this works. If you would accidentally die in an area, then when you respawn, and if you have one of these recovery compasses near that location, you can go ahead and easily pick it up, and then it'll point directly to where you died. That way there's no need to constantly keep track of your F3 screen, or it kind of replaces those mods that show you your death location. So now I can just use this and find exactly where all my loot dropped. Now the downside to this is it's only 2-dimensional, so it doesn't know exactly what Y level it's at. Just like now, it's currently saying it's somewhere around here, just happens to be way down at the very bottom, but at least gets you relatively close to where you need to search for it. Now if you don't have the last death area, the compass will just spin. Same thing will also occur if you happen to be in the wrong dimension from where you died. There's also some other technical changes that they made, such as the different cat types will actually be named for their special types, like Calico. Frogs will also have a type-specific option, with their variants being warm, temperate, as well as cold. Slimes and magma cubes will have a size field, with the smallest being 1. They made some tweaks to how advancements are triggered, and added some triggers for the lay when it delivers an item or drops an item off. They also came in with a bunch of different bug fixes to do with Skull Blocks, the Warden, a lay, and the new ancient cities. Let's see how these will change the game. They fixed this directional bias, though. Notice if I push this button here, it can't go and activate, but in this same situation, just the wool rotated to the opposite sides. If I push this button here, it does actually reach it. There's also a problem walking on this wool ring around here, which sometimes activate these outside skulks depending on which direction you walked. The Shrieker also wasn't with the other skulk blocks in the creative tab, which they fixed. If you were fast in breaking a Shrieker before the animation actually finished, Warden from being summoned in. But now this changed so you can't easily avoid them. They also changed it so that you're no longer able to activate a Shrieker and then just run away from it. Then the player would be too far away, so the warden wouldn't actually be summoned in. You can also prevent the warden from getting summoned in just by riding a horse by the Shrieker, as it wouldn't activate it, but now that's been changed. There was a problem that you weren't obtaining the blocks of the catalyst as well as the veins unless you're using a silk touch hoe. This is now fixed. When the warden was getting summoned up out of blocks that you typically don't have in survival, like berry blocks or light blocks, they were producing those particles. But since these blocks are supposed to be invisible to start with, this doesn't really make sense. The warden's shadow was too small. A little trick that I showed in my last snapshot video, where the wardens would zip up lava as well as water super fast, was deemed to be a bug and has been resolved. They also added so the warden will now pathfind through lava and won't be afraid of it. They also fixed it so the warden will no longer try to come after creative players. When attacking multiple mobs, it would just constantly be roaring towards them, rather than just picking a mob and killing it. Putting a warden inside of a spawner wasn't actually showing up with anything inside there. Despite being in peaceful mode, the warden sounds were still being played, as if it was being summoned in. Because of the way the warden checks, it is able to spawn directly inside of water. So we'll have to see if they still spawn inside of liquid that's above them, as their spawning is similar to iron golems. This bug that I mentioned before, where the warden would flash for a split moment before being summoned in, is now resolved. Despite the warden get mad at the player when he collides with it, the warden wasn't getting mad if mobs would do the same thing, which has changed. We noticed that when the warden would attack invulnerable mobs, it would just constantly roar at them. So now they should just ignore them like other mobs do. After killing its target, the warden would do its sniffing, but way too much. They resolved the problem where if you would move so far away from the warden, even though he's distracted by, let's say, like a snow golem, he would still be able to despawn. Now if the warden got mad at you, it's very easy to get him unmad just by logging out and then logging back in, sort of like you do with the Enderman, and he would completely forget about you. But this will no longer work. When the warden was being summoned in or digging back in, it's possible to move him around. They also resolved this problem of the warden's hitbox immediately appearing as if it's full size when he's being summoned in or digging back in. There now won't be lag when nearing a structure that has an allay in it. They fixed some Z-fighting issues, including with the allay's wing. The wings also weren't touching the actual body of it, as well as the underside and where the arms meet the body. They also fixed some problems with the ancient cities, including lava was burning the wool that was a part of it. And now the trapdoor that's on the icebox structure will no longer be always open. In the city center where the portal is, some of these didn't actually have a skulk sensor inside of the big lamps. The different structures that make up the ancient city, there was a couple different parts of it that were never being placed into the game, which now will be. In some cases, these structures were accidentally producing floating blocks like these ladders here. Now it turns out that this golden carrot that's here in this chest is supposed to be ate by the player. And this is supposed to activate this skulk sensor here to activate and open the door. The problem is this was actually too far away from where the player is to actually have any effect. And this problem actually applied to each of the cities. Like this one, the player is supposed to walk up and down these little corridor things to activate it, but for most areas it wasn't working. Bedrock Edition also got similar changes with the new biomes, trees, the mud block, and the variations, as well as some fixes to allay and gameplay, and the skulk sensors. Now come join in on discovering new things about this snapshot by joining my Twitch live stream, including the behind the scenes of how I design all my crazy things. I stream every Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday around 2 p.m. Eastern time for at least 2 hours. It's a lot of fun, and I really enjoy you guys' company, as some contraptions can take hundreds of hours. Thank you all for all your support, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye!